Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I'll be showing you a demo of Amazon CloudFront with Amazon S3. So in this demo, I'll be showing you how to use CloudFront to deliver content from an S3 bucket, creating a faster and more reliable experience for the users. And Amazon CloudFront, it is basically a content delivery network that securely delivers data, videos, applications, and APIs to customers globally with low latency and high transfer speeds. So let's get started. So it basically involves few basic steps, like first of all you should have an account on AWS. Secondly, you should be able to create CloudFront distribution and then use the CloudFront domain name in the URLs in your web pages or applications to reference the content. So for that we'll be creating uploading the files to S3 bucket, and then we'll be basically accessing those files with the help of our CloudFront. So in order to deliver this content from our S3 bucket with CloudFront, we'll basically create a new CloudFront distribution. Okay, so without any further ado, let's get started with the hands-on. So you have to go here and you have to search for this particular service, CloudFront, and you can open the service over here, CloudFront. Secondly, whatever origin you want, which you want the CloudFront to serve. Let's say in this particular demo we are going to use S3 bucket, so we are going to create a new bucket and we are going to add few objects to that particular bucket. So you can search for S3 service as well. So we are going to create a bucket, so click on create bucket. So once you click on create bucket, this is the page that comes. So you can type in the name of any bucket. Let's say CloudFront test bucket. Okay, and then let the settings be the way it is. Bucket version, let it be disabled. Let it be Amazon S3 managed keys, and then we'll be clicking on create bucket. Okay, so this particular name it already exists, so we need to keep some other name. So let's call it 001. Hopefully this name won't be there. So we'll click on create bucket, and once we click on create bucket, our bucket will start and it's being created. We can go inside the bucket and we can upload few objects. So let's click on upload and we'll upload few objects in this particular bucket. So these are some of the images which I have with me and an HTML file. So I'll upload this particular thing. So let's say I'll click on add files and I'll upload these three. Okay, and I will click on open, and finally let's not change anything and we'll click on upload. So once we click on upload all these three items, it will be uploaded successfully in our S3 bucket. Now let's go to CloudFront in order to create CloudFront distribution. So in order to create CloudFront distribution, we'll click on create distribution over here, and then it says choose origin or domain. So these are the options. So basically you can choose an ELB as well if you have an ELB already created, but we are showing this demo with an Amazon S3 bucket. So let's select this particular bucket. Then it has already filled in the name of the origin for us, and then origin access. So we are going to keep this access restricted since our bucket is, as of now I have not made it public. So if you go to the bucket and the objects, you can see that if you go to the permissions, you will see that block all public access is still on. So we'll select origin access control settings over here. For that we need to create control settings and we have to add a description. So let's say we add a description for CloudFront bucket, and let's click on create. Okay, so once you have clicked on create, it appears over here. And finally, we don't have to make any changes over here. And then we don't have to make any changes to caching policy also. Uh, However, there is an option where we need to add a remote object, the root object, which we want to be accessed by our CloudFront. So let's say the object that we wanted to access is index.html. So we are going to give that name over here, index.html. in default root object, and then we are going to click on create distribution. We are not going to change anything else in the settings, so all the settings they remain the same, cache policy and everything. Okay, so click on create distribution. Once you click on create distribution, it will start deploying your CloudFront, and you can click on create copy policy. Okay, so your policy statement for bucket policy, it gets copied over here. And in case if you are not able to get it, then you can go to origins and then you can get it. You have to click on this particular option, then click on edit. Once you click on edit and you go over here, you can see that you can copy the bucket policy over here. So the bucket policy that we copied when our bucket was getting deployed, when our CloudFront distribution was getting deployed, same policy is present over here, st policy. You can copy it if you are not able to copy it over there. Since we have already copied it, we will go to our s3 bucket that we have created just now, and we are going to this page. So let me show you once again. So this is your bucket. You can go inside this bucket, and finally you can go to permissions option, and in permissions there is an option known as bucket policy. So you can copy the policy that we copied just now. So click on edit, and now you can copy the policy. So basically in this policy you can see that the action is s3 colon get object, and the resource is, this is the resource. So whatever is present inside this particular bucket, CloudFront test bucket 001 slash asterisk. So whatever is present, if this condition meets, so when it meets this particular arn, the distribution arn, so in that case it will get displayed. So whatever is there, it will get displayed inside this particular bucket depending on this particular condition. So once you have copy pasted this particular s3 bucket policy, you will click on save changes so that the changes are being saved in s3 bucket policy. Now next what we have to do is, let's go to objects, and we'll see that there are three objects over here. Let's go to CloudFront and we'll click on this particular ID, CloudFront distribution ID, and then we are going to click on this particular distribution domain name. And once it is being copied, we will click it over here and we will hit enter. And you can see that this is the index.html which I uploaded earlier that gets displayed over here. So now you are accessing the s3 object, s3 bucket objects via CloudFront. So this is the CloudFront distribution URL. So each time you hit this particular request, so once you have hit this thing, it actually gets saved in the cache. And finally, the next time when the user tries to hit that particular URL, it is being picked from the cache location. So that's the beauty of using CloudFront. You can also access the other objects, like you can also access books1.jpg file. So you need to put a slash over here and you can access this particular file as well. So you can see that books1.jpg is also accessible. Similarly, you can access the other file that is present over there, books2.jpg. Okay, so now you have seen how we can use CloudFront and we can access the S3 objects using CloudFront. Now let's do the cleanup and we'll try to remove whatever we have created over here, just so that we don't get charged. So let's see, you will click on this particular option and you can click disable on it in order to disable that particular distribution. So we'll click on disable. So this has been disabled, it is still deploying. Let's go to s3 bucket. So what you can do is, you can select all these objects and you can click on delete. So these objects will be deleted and you have to type in permanently delete in order to delete these three objects. So we'll type in permanently delete and we will delete all these three objects. So these objects are being deleted. Now we'll go back to our bucket, and let's see if we want to delete this particular bucket. So we have to select this bucket and we have to click on delete. So that will delete our bucket. We basically need to type the name of the bucket that we created over here. So you put the name and you click on delete bucket. So this bucket cannot be undone once the bucket is being deleted. So that's it for today, guys. So you have learned how to use Amazon CloudFront with Amazon S3 to deliver content to your users with low latency and high transfer speeds. Thank you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to our channel for more content like this. Thank you. Bye bye.